Just when you thought the Eliza Bleu shenanigans and saga couldn't get any more crazy, she goes and does this. Hey, this is Greg Hoyt from The Breakdown. If you're new here and checking out the channel on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter at GregHoytLET. Anyway, let's get on to the video. Hey, what's going on? Greg Hoyt from The Breakdown here. And man, let me tell you, the Eliza Bleu saga, just when we thought it couldn't get any more weird or more complicated, this development transpires. Now, we all know the background with Eliza and the shenanigans pertaining to the inconsistencies of her, allegedly being trafficked on and off, through a couple of decades, and all that entails. And then there is the second leg of her shenanigans, which pertains to her getting her critics silenced and deplatformed on Twitter and getting, copyright and privacy notifications sent to YouTube content creators, all that jazz. In the realm of bad looks, that was the epitome of a bad look, because not only are you getting scrutinized for potentially, making up a trafficking story, but you're also getting criticized because you positioned yourself as being a pro-free speech individual, and you're getting people deplatformed and silenced on social media who are coming out to criticize you. But now word on the street is that Eliza Bleu is going to be a panelist on a discussion focused around content moderation on social media. Now, for those who aren't up to speed on some of the more recent things pertaining to Eliza, a lot has kind of unfolded over the past few days, particularly the three-part story that was drafted up by Shane Cashman that was purportedly meant to kind of fill in the gaps and answer all the tough questions regarding Eliza Bleu. That entire three-part arc has been removed from Timcast's website. And I think, and a lot of other people believe, it has a lot to do with the fact that, particularly in the third installment, there were claims, assertions, accusations that were leveled against an individual by the name of Defango that basically bordered on or was just outright defamation. Like Cashman was asserting that Defango might be a Fed, and also asserting that he has a gang of black SUVs on call, flat out calling Defango a gang stalker, and even suggesting that maybe he inserted chips into people's brains to alter the way they think. Like, that's not even solely defamation territory, that's like goofball journalism territory. Of course, the little snippet that Timcast provides on their website when folks try to access those old articles, the articles are now prefaced with like a little disclaimer saying that the reason why Timcast pulled these articles is because people just don't understand gonzo journalism. But everybody with an IQ above room temperature knows that that three-part arc that Shane Cashman did, that wasn't gonzo journalism, that was bozo journalism, that was bogus nonsense, and the third part, that was the icing on the cake, because that was just rife with libel and defamation. But that aside, this April over in Texas, Minds, as in the social media platform, is hosting like a special event. Hardly anything out of the ordinary for an event like this, where Minds is going to be hosting a myriad of panelists and discussion panels and what have you, where they're going to be talking about topical matters, things like, social media, freedom of speech, all that crap. But what is all the more interesting is that of all the panelists they could have brought forth on a discussion pertaining to content moderation and censorship, they bring on Eliza Bleu. Now, this event is scheduled for mid-April, and it's unclear whether or not Minds is going to potentially alter the panelist list or maybe make some last-minute changes, but they have already commented on the matter because the Post-Millennial put out a piece regarding this, noting that Eliza Bleu is a very controversial individual to have been picked to be part of this particular discussion. Minds basically gave out like a little run-of-the-mill statement saying like, hey, we respect free speech, diverse panelists, even people we don't agree with, yada, yada, yada. Basically an unremarkable and run-of-the-mill statement that pretty much any entity would put out when faced with a off-the-cuff question like this in light of recent circumstances. But it is also unclear whether or not Eliza is going to be following through with this, because again, this is taking place in mid-April over in Texas, and Eliza hasn't really mentioned anything about this on social media over the past few days. In fact, on Eliza Bleu's Twitter account, where she has the largest following, the largest platform, she's been silent for days, which is something that is very uncommon. Arguably at the height of the controversy regarding her little censorship campaign, she kept, poking the bear, putting up posts and threads that slightly allude to the situation that was plaguing her, but also then just posting things that were completely divorced from what was going on and the controversy that was boiling up. But as of February 14th, she hasn't put anything on Twitter for the past 4 days. In fact, the last thing that she put up, which now in retrospect makes a little bit more sense, she put up this post about like how she's going to pursue her love story or something to that effect. But it makes me wonder whether or not that was her kind of doing the Tom Brokaw signing off for the night. Because again, she usually doesn't maintain radio silence for this long because she's always appeared to be very full of herself. So 4 days without a post, looking back at the verbiage she employed in that last post on Twitter, it kind of sounds like she was bowing out from social media. Which, I mean, if that's the case, that's probably for the better. She should probably just back away from the spotlight and just, do something normal. Like take Candace Owens' advice and just go out and get a job and do something regular. Now, I'm not exactly sure how long this Minds event has been in the works. If this is something that's been, going on for a few months, which, it wouldn't be surprising if that was the case, because, these events, even if they're small, you still got to secure venue, you still got to secure speakers, all that stuff. It can take months to plan, so this could have very well been something that had been in the works for a couple of months, well before the Eliza Bleu drama really kicked off and went into high gear. But I think it would just be so foolish. I think it would really be foolish for Minds to keep this person as some kind of panelist to discuss content moderation and deplatforming and stuff like that on social media. It's just ill-advised, it's bad timing, it's bad form, it's bad everything. But again, I'm also wondering whether or not Eliza Bleu will even do it, because if she goes up on stage, there's a possibility that folks will just go to attend that panel to heckle her. I gotta be honest, if that happened, I wouldn't lose much sleep. I would think it's kind of funny. But I'm beginning to suspect, I think Eliza is finally getting close to reading the proverbial room and realizing that the space that she occupied before, this space of, being a sex trafficking victim advocate while also posing as a victim herself, I think she's beginning to realize that she's pretty much no longer welcome in that space. But who knows, Eliza's been full of surprises, full of tricks. It could be anything. She could just pop back onto Twitter out of nowhere and be like, yes, I am doing this panel. Which, if that's the case, man, I don't know. I'm kind of half tempted to go to Texas to see if she's going to do this thing. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Let me know your thoughts and comments on this, whether you think this is just like complete clownery that Eliza Bleu was kind of inserted in this weird panel discussion. And also let me know, would you guys want me to go to Texas and, cover this event on the ground to see if she actually shows up? Anyways, guys, that was the breakdown. Peace.